Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beating the Press podcast, your weekly podcast talking on all things football related. If discussing football is your type of thing, why not join our 76 or 77 hardened followers and press the subscribe button. I'm Kristian, this is Ty, and we're discussing quite a few things this week. It's been quite a busy week in the European front, what with the Champions League and the Europa League and the announcement of the England squad. So we're going to be discussing all of that and more next. So Ty, with that being said, have you been watching much football this week?
Ask the wife. she's been sat upstairs at 8 o'clock every week. So I'll be watching plenty of football. Having said that, the Europa League was a 6 o'clock kickoff. But yeah, Champions League obviously Tuesday night, Thursday night. Just finalised those last teams for those last quarter finalists. But yeah, and then obviously Europa League as well, with one particularly big shock. What about yourself?
Yeah, I obviously we started the week with the Liverpool game. Bit of a struggle, but we actually managed to get through it relatively comfortable in the end. Obviously, we had the incident with Patricio, which we may get time to talk about later, but obviously the majority of it was down to Europe. I watched a bit of the Man City game, turned over very quickly because it was clear that they were absolutely flying, no danger whatsoever. Watched Chelsea. I was actually really impressed with Chelsea. They just keep on going from strength to strength. I thought the Atletico game was going to be a little bit more tougher. The tie as a whole would have been a lot more tougher, but they seemed to handle it in the stride. And then I think it was what was on the next day?
It was the Atlanta Real Madrid game, wasn't it?
Yeah, Atlanta. Other than I think them being robbed of a Liverpool Man U-esque half-time moment. Again, I think Real looked relatively comfortable. And then obviously on last night with Man United, again, I was a little bit disappointed with Milan overall. I thought they would have took the game a little bit more to United, but I do feel there was a better team on the night. However, United generally do what United kind of do.
It was a funny one. I saw a tweet from one of my mates who's a Man United fan, and it was 0 at the time. Man United were winning, and he said, 2 years in Solskjaer, I still have no idea what identity is, what a pattern of players. Because Tuchel's been at Chelsea for 15 games. You know how Chelsea are going to play. Whereas at Man United, it's just like you don't know what they're going to do. They're just like an absolutely really weird team, aren't they? You can't. You kind of know they'll get somewhere near the end of a tournament, so like quarter semis, and then they'll lose. They'll just bottle it. We can call them bottle. You just call them. They get found out. I mean, defensively, they seem to be all right, but then going forward, they're just weird team. They just don't. They'll rely on someone just doing something magical, and then ball done, and then it's okay and it's forgiven. And you've obviously mentioned it before. He's like that manager who always puts like down to his last 20p, puts in the slot machine, and he drops the fucking jackpot. But he keeps on doing it, doesn't he?
It's a talent.
I mean, would you rather be lucky or good? That's the thing. But sorry, just going back to the Champions League games. I thought the Atletico. I was really disappointed with Atletico. But I think that's just a reflection of where Spanish football is at the moment. I think English football is strong in that you've got, I'd say, Liverpool, Man City. I mean, I know Liverpool have had a day. Liverpool, Man City, and I'd say Chelsea as well. All three of them have got a real chance of winning the Champions League.
What you were saying there was, I think it's quite impressive that you've got Liverpool and Chelsea who are realistically fighting over fourth place in the Premier League as well. So it just bodes well for the Premier League as a whole. Yeah,
of course it does. But the Spanish League, I think Italian League as well. It's weird because you've got Juve, who everyone sort of think, they're the best team in the league, but not third in the league at the moment. Do you know what I mean? They're behind. Inter seem to be flying. It's like the wrong teams are in the sort of, far, knockout stages of the Champions League. But you've got Bayern Munich and Leipzig as well. Leipzig was supposed to be really close, but Liverpool absolutely pretty much smashed them over 2 games. It's just a weird season. Whereas I thought Porto were quite impressive against Juve.
Yeah,
I was impressed by Porto.
Especially with them going down to 10 men. It seems like it goes in cycles, doesn't it?
Football's cyclical, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, obviously we had the Champions League draw. Was it this morning? It's been such a long day. I think it was this morning, wasn't it? Yeah. So I'm just going to reel off the draw as a whole, and then we'll start with one of them. I know which one I want to start with. So the draw, so the draw itself is Manchester City. They host Borussia Dortmund. Porto host Chelsea in the first game. Bayern Munich host Paris Saint-Germain, and Real Madrid host Liverpool, which is obviously where I'm going to start. There's no other place. Obviously, the Madrid fans will probably remember the final a couple of years ago as the Gareth Bale final, where he, for that magical moment where he does the overhead kick, and there you go on to win yet another Champions League. But Liverpool fans, me, you, every other Liverpool fan, we probably remember it for one reason only: Mo Salah getting armbarred by Sergio Ramos and completely messing up our flow and just throwing off our rhythm completely. My question to you is, do you think there is going to be any form of, I don't know whether revenge is too strong a word. I know the Liverpool fans will be thinking of it like that, but do you think there'll be anything like that with the players? And obviously, your general thought on the game itself.
No, I don't think. Yeah, so just to go back on the draw as well before I answer your question. So they've done the semi-final draw as well. So it's Liverpool. The winners of the Liverpool Real game are playing the winners of Chelsea Porto game, and then obviously the other side. Winners are then playing each other. Well, yeah, I don't think it'll make a huge difference. I don't think they'll have revenge in their mind. Lots of things have happened since then. Liverpool have won the Champions League since they lost that final as well. It's interesting you say Liverpool fans will remember it as a more. I actually don't. I remember it as the Karius final. We could talk about Bale, but Karius literally just threw 2 in. I think me and you would have saved both those goals to give. They won 3-1, and Bale's over a kick, obviously phenomenal. Well, then he's actually rolled the ball out to Benzema. It's hit his backside and it's gone in, and a shot that was straight at him's gone through his legs, and he never played for Liverpool again, I don't think. Or he played a game and he got binned off. But yeah, so no, I don't think it's got anything to do with it. And I think before the draw came about, I actually wanted the 2 teams I wanted was Real or Dortmund, because Porto impressed me over the 2 leg against Juve, whereas Real and Dortmund, you're looking at, if you ask a fan who hasn't been watching much football recently, they'll just go with the names and they'll think Real or Dortmund are quality, very tough. Real are not the team not the team they used to be. It just shows the strength of La Liga where they're at. I mean, obviously anyone can win on a one-off game, the no crowd situation and all that. But I'm happy with the draw, from all the other ones that we could have done, because we could have got any of the English teams as well. I didn't want the English teams, and I would have preferred not to have Bayern. I didn't mind PSG either. So it would have been like not Man City or Chelsea. But I mean, again, over 2 legs, I'm not really bothered. But Real, I'm happy with, and I think we'll do okay. Obviously, more bodies are coming back as well. Fabinho obviously coming back is a huge bonus for us. Centre halves are obviously going to be asked questions, against Benzema. But the rest of it, I'm not majorly, fussed with it. I'm kind of pleased with it, with the options that we had. What about you?
No, yeah, I'm like you. I'm really happy with the draw. I think, like I said, I think Liverpool fans in general have been wanting to play Real Madrid for some time. But like you said there, I don't think that the Real Madrid that they once were. Obviously, they still have the top quality. You think of Modric and in particular Kroos in midfield. But what I'm thinking about is our weak points and which teams can exploit them the most. And I feel like Real Madrid will be one of the teams that I would have chosen for us to face with our defensive problems at the moment. Because, if you think of Man City, for example, or PSG, very, very slick, fast forwards, quick play around the edge of the box. Whereas I feel like I think Nat and Kabak might, like Benzema's a little bit more of a stationary forward. I just think that they maybe will handle it a little bit better, and I think that we've got a lot of youth in our team, and I think we'll be able to just run the legs off Real Madrid personally. But also they have the they're not playing the home games at home, and I think they're struggling with that as well. I think they're playing at the like the training. Yeah, so I'm really happy with that. You know, I think I'd have been a lot more worried if it was up against you know, like a forward in someone like Haaland, with a lot more pace, power, a little bit more trickery with the likes of Sancho. But then again, Vinicius Junior, I watched him the other night and I thought he was really good. He was the standout player for Real Madrid. I just want to move on to the next one. You actually mentioned that you were very impressed with Porto, but I think if most people would have been picking a team that they probably would have wanted to play before the last round of games, they would have said Porto. Now, you probably already answered this, but it's not going to be as straightforward as what people think.
No, this is just people's lack of knowledge and just going with the names. You know, if you put all those 8 teams on a sheet of paper and you think rank first to worst, you've got Porto at the end. Whereas if you actually watch them play, Porto won't be at the bottom. Porto have got a real, you know, you talk about teams with identity. You watch them play, they've got a real way of playing. And that Oliveira who scored I know it was fucking when Ronaldo turned his back. He's an absolute player. You know, I know Pepe is like nearly 70 and keeps going, and you know what I mean. But you know, you want him on your side. You know, he's an absolute twat, but he's someone you want on your side.
Yeah.
And I think it's not going to be as easy for Chelsea as many people think. I think they've gone second favourites, and I don't quite get that. Man City are favourites. I definitely don't get that. They're on the tougher side of the draw, I'd say. They've got Bayern, PSG. They've got Dortmund to get past, and it's either Bayern or PSG. You know, Man City have never been to a final. Every season they're in a final, and then, you know, Guardiola tries to do something unbelievably unique that no one's ever seen before, and he falls flat on his face. Just stick to the known way you're playing, and if you go out, you go out. Yes, and I think Chelsea, tough game, but I mean, you'd expect them to go through, but you know, I think it's going to be a really, really tight one. I think it could go to extra time. That, you know, in the second leg. Yeah,
they've obviously he's came in Tuchel, and he's like put his own, like we were talking about Solskjaer earlier. He's put his own brand on Chelsea almost instantly. Like they're really impressive. They're very difficult to beat. Retain possession really well. I think they will be too strong for them, but like you say, I think that it will go down to. I think it will go down to the way. You know, if you think of Porto, that when they played against Juventus, that they went down to 10 men really early. Was it?
It was just. I think it was just start the second half, so pretty much, yeah. So it was 40 minutes plus. So it's 70 minutes effectively with 10 men.
Yeah, that's no joke against Cristiano Ronaldo.
And Juve played well that game as well. Juve played well. I know they've been playing shit this season, but they played well that game.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you was, do you think home advantage will play much of a part, particularly obviously with the crowds not being in?
No, I mentioned this before. It's pointless. It's stupid the away goals rule. If you ever had a season where you had an opportunity to just bin it, this was it. It's pointless. Yeah. How can you have? It's not away goals. It's ridiculous. There's no advantage. I mean, the Liverpool Leipzig game was the most bonkers game ever. Both played at neutral venues. Both games that you've got away goals. It's like, how does that work? You know, it's just sometimes I just think they need to get their bang ends together, and I just think that does not make any sense at all. You know what I
mean? We could speak about the away goals forever. Like I've always said that after extra time, the away goals should not count because each team should have 90 minutes with the chance to have away goals. But I'm just thinking with regards to Porto, they obviously, I think they're in is it a red zone with regards to COVID, so potentially they'll be playing their game in a neutral venue with Chelsea obviously playing their game at home. So that could play some part, but like you said, I don't think it'll.
I mean, I think the legs aren't till first week in April or maybe second week in April, so you don't know how the rules are going to change.
Could be a possibility of it being lifted by then.
Yeah, you kind of hope so, and you think, but you don't know. I think just going back to Chelsea's, you talk about he's really stamped his mark, and I think he's done something which Lampard hasn't done, and I think managers before him either. I don't know. He's playing sort of 3-4-3, and obviously, you know, the three. He's got Werner up front or Giroud, and then in the sort of the 2 10s effectively, he's rotating in between ZH, Havertz, Mount, and Hudson-Odoi had to go in there. But the 2 in the middle, the really big difference and change, I think, is put Kante in there. So it's Kante and Kovacic. The games, I know with Jorginho and Kovacic, they were fine. But Kante's gone in their last few games and he's been phenomenal. He's gone to the Kante of the Leicester form, where you're thinking he's everywhere, there's two of him, that sort of thing. It's just positional sense and ability to take the ball and play from that position. I think he's brilliant. And I think the previously when they were playing sort of 4-3-3 or sometimes 3-5-2 and they're three in the middle, Kante I don't think he's very good. He's not as good when he's got three in the middle. He's better when there's just two of them in the middle. And I think him and Kovacic, you know what I mean? I think that's a better set midfield. But yeah, he's been top notch. Like he's been absolutely brilliant. I can't speak highly enough. And it reminds me of when he was at Leicester.
Yeah, he's been kind of pigeonholed by a couple of managers previously, where the only think of him as a destroyer. But like you say, in Leicester, he was renowned for even travelling with the ball, his ability to pass the ball about. So it's good to see him back in that level of form because he is a player I like. He seems like a nice guy off the pitch as well.
Yeah.
So moving on, we've got the probably the most tastiest game in the quarterfinals, which is Bayern hosting PSG in the first leg. So Neymar will likely be back with that in that game. With both teams at full strength, who have you got?
Oh, Bayern. I know Bayern beat them in the final as well, didn't they, last year? We talk about revenge and stuff, but PSG's side Pochettino's the top manager. How much is going to get in there and change it and get them to the level where they need to beat Bayern, I'm not quite sure. The league, I think the 3 points to top at league as well, PSG in France. Whereas Bayern have got a way of playing. They're a strong side. I mean, not to say PSG can't turn up and win. It's one of those, isn't it, Europe? You can be brilliant in one leg and pretty shit in the other and still go through. Like they were brilliant in the game against Barca away. They won 4-1, whereas the game at home, Barca were phenomenal, but they still couldn't get the goal. They did enough in the first game to get through. So it's a tough one. I mean, I'd expect Bayern to go through, but you have got Mbappe, Neymar, Verratti, do you know what I mean? Marquinhos. You've got some top players in there that could turn it on and it could go their way. And I think they are more of a team since Pochettino's done it. They have got a better way of playing. It's not just all. I think the previous managers they've had and probably the owners, they wanted to go down the Galactico route. Pochettino's come back and he's trying to get away from that. And I think Bayern will go through, but it'll be closer than sort of last season. Even though the Champions League final last year, Bayern only won 1-0. I think they could and should have probably won by more. It wasn't really a fair reflection of the game. But I think it'll be close. I think all four will be close, but I think that will be close. I'd imagine Bayern will wedge it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think when both teams are on form, Bayern win it. But I think the only way that PSG do beat Bayern is if they're on form. Like I think Bayern, they can afford to have an off night and they could still come through the tie. But I think PSG have to be on it. Neymar has to be on it, and Mbappe can't afford to miss the chances like he did in the final. I think, I think it'll be. I actually think it'll be comfortable for Bayern Munich. Then again, I've had them from the beginning, and I still don't see any way that they're going to give it up. Now, moving on to Man City, the last quarter final, they are hosting Borussia Dortmund and Haaland. It's perhaps an audition because obviously everybody's tipping him to go to Man City in the summer. So, how do you see this one going? A
lot tighter than people think. And I think, I think everyone, I'd imagine, I've not spoken to you, I've not asked you yet, but I'd imagine you'd think Man City are going to piss it. And I can see that, but I think Dortmund attack well, like really well. And I know they're quite a bit off Bayern and aren't in the Bundesliga, but they're one of those teams that could turn it on because again they've got some really good players, top players that can turn it on. Again, it's knockout football, and you're sort of thinking one good game. And Man City's history of getting to the sort of business end of the Champions League and fucking it up sometimes off their own doing as well. It's not a given. So if there is going to be a shock I will for, I'd say that's the one. I'd say Dortmund to go through. And I think that all four are fairly tight, I'd say, but this one I can see Dortmund upsetting the apple cart.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I'm probably the stereotypical fan. I'm a bookies
Dream.
I go favorite. I'm like you in a way. I kind of worry for City, because City can dominate a game. They can have all the possession, all the chances. But the one thing that you have with City is they can throw away a tie like no other team can within the shortest space of time. They concede one, it's quite easy for them. You can see them that they're ready to capitulate like they did against us. They pretty much lost the Champions League tie against us a couple of years where we knocked them out. They lost it within 20 minutes. And, it's, I think they've got maybe better characters now from when we played them. But, I just think that I think they will be too strong. But then again, I would never, ever back against Haaland, who I absolutely love. I think he's the hottest prospect going about. And that's the next thing that I wanted to touch on with you. I don't know if you watched it on, I think it was Monday Night Football. They had Thierry Henry and Jamie Carragher. And Thierry Henry would not choose either way because obviously Mbappe is his countryman. So he's not going to say it one way or the other. I just wanted to have your opinion on if you could choose one player, doesn't matter for what team, who would you have?
Mbappe.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I just think he's more...
Shocked me.
No, does that surprise you?
It does surprise me, but yeah, I'd be interested to know why.
Yeah, so, right. Mbappe can play anywhere across the front three. Mm-hmm. It's quicker than him. And I think he's been held back at PSG. He's been playing in the wrong league. He needs to... He's won the World Cup as well. Yes. I think people forget about that. And he turned up at the World Cup as well. He's been unlucky at PSG in that with Neymar there. He's always somehow played sort of second fiddle in a weird way. The rest of the world know he's sort of better, and football people generally know he's better. Neymar's the fancy down, and the owner was fucking jizzing in his pants when they signed Neymar. But Mbappe has got something about him. We talk about obviously when Messi and Ronaldo go, who's the next one, and these two are obviously top of the list to take that mantle. But I just think Mbappe is a generational talent. To be fair, so is Haaland, and I can see why someone would go the other way. But it is a game of opinions. I just think with winning the World Cup and he's been about longer as well. That plays a part. Haaland's been brilliant for Dortmund for a season, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Mbappe's done it for a good while. Even before when he was at Monaco as well, and he's at France for France as well. For major tournaments. So I think he's just done it at bigger levels for longer, and it's consistently been longer. And he's played, and like I said, he can't play across the front three as well. That plays. Whereas Haaland's just a, I want to say it's just a 9. He's just a 9, but he's like the phenomenal 9. You know what I mean? And it's just So that's my opinion. Obviously, if you disagree, please comment. Let me know your thoughts as well. We always welcome them.
Yeah, it's very close for me too. I just feel like Haaland's like he's like Drogba, but can finish. He's like just he's complete forward. Obviously, he's not got the ability to do like a few step overs, and he doesn't create anywhere near as much as Mbappe. He's not as complete as Mbappe is. But as far as a specialist goes, like, you think of Lewandowski, Aguero putting the ball in the back of the net. And maybe it's just as a Liverpool fan, we love Bobby to death, but you just cry out for those days where, you have a typical number 9 who can just bang in goal after goal. And I don't know whether you saw Monday Night Football, and they brought up the 2 statistics, and what they had was it was clear that Mbappe would score maybe just over one goal every 2 games, but he would have quite a few assists. It'd be like evened out. Whereas Haaland, I think he had over 1 goal a game, and he had, I think it was 1 assist all season. So it shows both of their qualities or lack of. Obviously it's dependent. The decision is dependent upon the team that's playing. We're going to fire off the 4 that everybody keeps on saying that are interested in him. And I just want a quick answer on which one you think suits that team best. So if I would start off first, so Man City.
Oh, from Mbappe or Haaland?
Yes.
Mbappe.
Okay. And
just because he's more. I'll explain why, because I think it needs an explanation. He's more of a complete forward, and if anything, history has shown us that Guardiola doesn't really like a static number 9. Even Aguero seems to have sort of fallen down the pecking order. He plays like a false 9. With Mbappe against, he can play across the front 3, can't he? And if he plays as a 9, he's not a traditional. You know what I mean? He suits Man City the way they play better.
Okay, so Man United.
Haaland.
Do you think that's because of their style?
Yeah, they need a 9. I mean, Cavani's, I think there's rumours of him going to Boca Juniors at the end of the season, and he's, 34, 35. He's not on a... They need... I know, this is what they need, yeah. Everyone else, they got Greenwood, Martial, Rashford, they all like to play wide, so Haaland down middle, yeah.
Chelsea?
Haaland, because Werner's not a 9. He can't finish for shit. I'm not buying him. I've not been impressed by him, but that's another podcast. Haaland down the middle. Mbappe, he won't really play. I think Haaland, they need a 9. Giroud's getting on a bit, and yeah, Haaland.
Liverpool.
Fuck me. Haaland.
We don't sell any players. We keep exactly who they are.
I mean, you could play Mbappe down there, and as well, I don't know. I think Mbappe, because it'd suit the way we play better. Actually, Mbappe, yeah, because obviously, we need that pacing behind and the pressing. And Haaland, as great as he is, he's a typical 9. He's not going to, his pressing isn't that great. That's a big part of our game. Mbappe can play across the front 3, so Man inside could he quite easily play in central. Do you know what I mean? And just shift it around. Where it's Haaland, he's always going to play 9, and then it's like, who's going to play as your wingers, as your wide man? Is it me, Jota for me? It's just, yeah. I think Mbappe would suit us better. Even though if you gave me Haaland, I'd snap your hand off.
So moving on. Obviously, we mentioned earlier the semi-finals. The draw goes as follows: we've got Bayern Munich or PSG versus Man City or Borussia Dortmund. And then you've got Real Madrid or Liverpool versus Porto or Chelsea. Anything that stands out there? Obviously, Liverpool will be happy with that.
Yeah, I think Man City would be happy with it, and I think all the teams, apart from us, obviously the PSG would be like, well, we'd rather not have Man City. Dortmund, obviously, the teams that have got the tough teams would say, well, why can't we get someone else? But I think in general, it's a good draw. I think the easier, if there ever is. Liverpool side seems to be an easier route through to the final. Real Madrid out as Real Madrid, and they've got Chelsea and Porto. And then the Man City side seems a bit tougher, but it could quite easily be Man City out. And it's one of them, innit? You just don't know. But I think your next question is going to be who do I think is going to win?
Well, it's coming. It's coming. I like the fact that Liverpool are on this side of the draw, because I feel like we can beat just about anybody over 2 legs. But obviously, I'd rather be on this side of the draw. Yeah. When it comes to no fans, and with it being over one, obviously the final's going to be over 1 leg. I'd prefer just to play Bayern Munich or Man City over 1 game, particularly the way that we're playing at the moment. But yeah. Before I ask the question which you think I am going to ask, I've got the betting odds from Paddy Power, and I want you to let me know if you think that there's any value in any of the following. So we've got Man City at 9-4 favourites. We've got Bayern Munich at 4-1, Liverpool at 6-1, PSG at 7-1, Chelsea at 8-1, Real Madrid at 12-1. Borussia Dortmund at 33-1 and Porto at 40-1. Do you see any value in there?
I do. I mean, I mentioned Porto, but they have impressed me at 40-1. I mean, they beat Chelsea, and they basically, you back them each way. They just need to win the semi. I think there's a bit of value to be had there, because there's a lot of similarities between this Porto team and the team that won it all those years ago under Mourinho. And I also think Man City are really. I can't have Man City as favourites. There's no way I can have them as favourites. So if you want 9-4, come to me. I'll take that bet. And I think Liverpool are a decent price as well. I'd expect them. They're the favourites. I'd expect them to be favourites on that side of the draw. and then obviously you get to the final, and then anything can happen.
Okay, so Ty's tip, what is it going to be?
No, not Porto, because that means Liverpool, doesn't it? I'd say at the price, I'd say Man City. Man City not to win.
Okay, and lastly, who's going to win it?
Can I give you the finalists?
Go on, you can give me the finalists.
I'll give you the finalists: Liverpool and Bayern.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Bayern's going to win it. So, all right. Well, with that being said, we'd like to get your opinions below. Who do you think is going to win the Champions League? Is it going to be Liverpool? Hopefully. I have a feeling a lot of you will go with Man City or Bayern Munich, but it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts. So just put it down in the comments below. So next, we're going to move on to the Europa League. Did you manage to catch that draw?
No, Man United got Granada. I didn't get the rest of it. I'm sure you're going to fill me in with it.
Yeah, so obviously Granada play Man United at in the first game, and then the second game goes back to Old Trafford. Arsenal, they host Slavia Prague in the first leg. You've got Ajax v Roma, a little bit of a tasty tie there.
Yeah.
You've got Dynamo Zagreb versus Villarreal in the final game. Starting with United, they obviously travel to Granada first, so surely they've got to be relatively chuffed with that draw.
You'd think so, but again, Granada have done all right, and Man United don't. They're a weird team. I've said before, they're a weird team. You don't know what you're going to get from them. So, I'd imagine if they put them down as favourites, I'd be laying. I'll be like, nah, don't, because Solskjaer's been in charge. He's got to a few sort of competitions later on and just absolutely bottled it or spooned it on it. So the club have, and I'd imagine it's going to be the same. Granada could knock them out. Would you be surprised? Probably not. I don't know. You'd expect Man United to go through. But I think, and you look at the draw, you're thinking, I'd take Granada, and you'd sort of go through, you'd happy with that. Because obviously they beat Sociedad as well, didn't they? But Granada are a different kettle of fish, so we'll see. But I think you'd expect Man United to go through.
That's what I mean. We've been talking about the Spanish team struggling over the last couple of years, but you just don't know that. There could be a mixed bag, and that's exactly what United are. You truly never know what you're going to get with them. And Granada, I think they came up to La Liga a couple of seasons ago, and I think they stayed at around about 7th and 8th. So they're no mugs. Obviously, they're there for a reason. Obviously, United and I think it's Ajax. They're the only remaining teams from the Champions League that got knocked out from the Champions League. So obviously, Granada there are absolutely on merit. So it could be a tasty game. Did you watch the game against Milan? What did you think of United?
I thought they were just weird. It's like, you watch them, you try and analyse. And I've got Guy Neville saying this every time. They're an odd bunch. And I think that's a really good way to describe them, because you just don't know what you're going to get. I thought Milan were the better side over the two legs. But Man United they got a goal in the first. They got, like I said to you yesterday, they have like moments where they just like score a goal and then they'll get scabby performances and results, and they'll just go through, and everything seems to be all right. But no, I thought Milan just, they got that Pogba goal when it happened. It was something out of the blue, wasn't it? They didn't look like they were going to score. I thought Milan played good football. Man United, probably after they scored, they had about probably a 10-minute spell where they looked really threatening, and then after that, they just reverted back to normality. Defend deep and trying to play on the break. But it was a Man United performance. You're just like, what is it? You don't really know. They've won and that's it. Right. No, you don't.
The one thing you can say about United at the moment is they're quite exciting to watch. When they do have their dull moments, like very, very dull. But when they go away from home, particularly in these big games, like I'm thinking about PSG. Was it maybe last year or the season before? They turned PSG over. They didn't play well in that game, but they still managed to turn them over. So
they scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes or something, and they were
nowhere. So it's crazy.
Like a weird team. They're like nowhere near the game, and the other team have like missed chances. Man, they've managed to. I don't know.
I was reading. Yeah, I was really impressed with Milan in the first leg. I thought they were brilliant, and I just thought I couldn't see another win. I couldn't see anyone else win but them in the second leg. But credit United, coming through. I thought Pogba, when he came on, he was excellent. It seems to be like continually a star player manages to pull it out the bag for them. It's not necessarily like a team performance or a tactical masterclass. It seems to be one player just kind of steps up and seem to be doing it one after the other at the moment. But eventually, you imagine that luck's got to run out.
Yeah, I think just linked to that. Just a really quick point. Fernandez has been really bad for a couple of months
lately. Yeah.
A couple of. He had an unbelievable 1 year, and he's not been after that calendar year's over. He's not done a lot, has he? And he's almost like at the moment, you're asking me over the last few months, I'd be having Pogba playing ahead of him in that role. Do you know what I mean? And I think he seems to bring more to the team than Fernandez. Fernandez just seems to moan a lot. I find at the moment,
I think he's definitely suffering from some form of burnout. Pogba's had a couple of injuries where he's allowed to refresh, but as well as Bruno has done, he has been poor of late. But like I say, I put that down to burnout. Forgive him, but yeah, Pogba needs this. So next, the other and the last remaining English side, other than United, of course, is Arsenal. They host Slavia Prague, who they knocked out. Was it Rangers? I think they knocked out Rangers.
They've not Rangers and Leicester. They're another team that have really impressed me as well.
So it's going to be tricky, this one.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I think I actually thought Arsenal had a real chance of winning it, but I think that's not a kind draw to them, because Slavia Prague are a tough side. I mean, obviously Leicester will tell you all about them. They knocked Rangers out as well.
Yeah.
I watched the Arsenal game against Olympiacos, and I thought Arsenal were not great. Olympiacos were poor, like really poor. I don't think I'd ever seen a team play that many misplaced passes, like really simple passes. And Arsenal just couldn't. And they lost 1-0 at the end, didn't they? They lost another, because I can't even remember. Yeah, they lost 1-0. No, I think it's a tough game. I mean, it's another one you'd expect Arsenal to go through, but the way Arsenal are playing, it just shows where the league's at, the Premier League's at. You've got some teams, and you can't say with any certainty that someone's going to go and do something. I think Chelsea are actually the informed team in the league at the moment. The way they're playing, you kind of know what you're going to get from them. The rest of them, I just think. I mean, Man City as well, but yeah, I'm on about the rest apart from Man City. You just don't know what you're going to get.
I'm just interested in your thoughts on Arsenal and where you see them at the moment. Obviously, Arteta seems to take the team pretty far in competitions, and I want to preface that a little bit in maybe competitions that people don't necessarily take too serious until they get into the latter rounds. If you think of, he's won the FA Cup last season or the season before, where it's obviously a competition where the stronger teams start to feel the best teams in the quarters. And if you think of the Europa League again, you get towards the quarters and the semis, and then you're going to start playing your stronger teams. Do you think that he's taken them in the right direction? Do you think that he can accomplish something bigger?
I think sometimes, as he's been there for a while now. What's he been there for over a year, hasn't he?
Yes, definitely.
And I think sometimes as a manager, and someone like me looking in, you see the players that have made the mistakes over the years for him, and yet you're still sticking by him. So, for example, Xhaka, David Luiz, Pepe, we've spoke about him before. And I don't know what's happening with Aubameyang. I really don't.
He's fallen foul, isn't he?
I don't know. And I just think I think Arsenal have got a core of an unbelievably strong team. I think Tierney's good, really good. I think Gabriel's really good. Thomas Partey is good. Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, Lacazette. Do you know what I mean? You've got Martinelli. And it's just little, giving, I don't know. You watch him play, and I know how he wants them to play, but without the ball, they have moments where you just feel like they're going to crumble. Like again with Olympiacos yesterday, you find if they concede a goal, they can have a 5 or 10 minute spell where they just go to shit, and it's going to go. They can just go bang. They can concede 1-2, and it's dead. Game over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that just comes down to that mentality bit. And I don't know. It's the same with Spurs. We'll talk about Spurs in a second, but it doesn't matter who your manager is. It's almost like it's what's embedded into the culture of the club, and that is something so hard to get out, reset, restart again, and the new manager getting his ideas and in his environment that he wants to create and culture. Sometimes the players have played with other managers and had an easy ride for so long, and it's easy for them in their own heads and their mentality. To shift that mentality is the toughest bit. Getting players to play out from the back, that's not new. Arsenal have always done that. This is Arsenal. They've always played out from the back. They've always wanted to play through the thirds, be progressive and all that shit. But the mentality is the bit that gets questioned. And where are they? 9th or 10th in the league?
I think the 10th, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, come on. Like, we talk about Solskjaer not knowing him. We might be lucky. We don't know what he's doing with his team. Might be a weird bunch, but they're not going to crumble as much as Arsenal are. You know what I mean? And I just think this. How long do you give Arteta? This project.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. You know what I mean? It's like you get someone else and then restart again. I think you can see what he's trying to do. I think the fact that he dropped Aubameyang over the weekend when he turned up late, I think that's a good sign. But I still do think there's bodies there that he needs to get rid of and get new ones in.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll just finish on this with regards to Arsenal. If Arsenal don't win the Europa League and they somehow don't end up the season with any kind of trophy and finish, the following with 7th or 8th, do you think Arsenal should keep Arteta?
Oh, they're not going to get rid of him. They're unlikely to win the Europa League. They're unlikely to win anything. They're probably going to finish about 8th or 9th or whatever. The hierarchy aren't going to get rid of him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what are you going to do? What's the point of getting rid of him now? You've had him for a year. He's done all that planning. He's got the bodies in that he wanted. And you can see little bits of improvement, but I think ultimately little bits of improvement. When you're a top club, and Arsenal are a top club, you need to be sort of competitive at the business end of the league season, and when it gets to the knockout stages of the cup competitions as well, the major I'm not about your League Cup.
Yeah, spot on. So the next game in the quarterfinals is Ajax versus Roma. Probably the tastiest game. Yeah. Obviously, Roma have not been what they probably have been over the last couple of years. And Ajax, you can never really tell where they are. They're trouncing away with the league as always. Any thoughts on Victor's on that?
I'd flip a coin. I couldn't call it. I think Ajax do play some really good. Ajax obviously have got you talk about team philosophies and what you Ajax's philosophy is basically get players, make them good enough, and sell them on for a profit. That's what it is. Whereas Roma, they're not as good as they were. And I think it's going to be a tight one. And you're asking me to call it. I couldn't. I think either one of them two could win the Europa League as well. That's just to sort of say how tight it is. And you talk about teams being happy with their draw. I think both of them would have been like, for fuck's sake, would have taken anyone else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. Both quality teams, both who I think one of them will likely be in the final. Couldn't call it either way. Lastly, we've got Dynamo Zagreb. They're actually in place of Spurs versus Villarreal. Again, this one I'm not too familiar with both teams. I haven't seen much of them this season. Do you see either of them having a chance of going all the way? I think Villarreal
I think Villarreal can go all the way. I think Zagreb had a game of their lives yesterday, and I think Spurs had the worst game of their lives, and that combined ended up with that. I was watching the Arsenal game and it kept 1-0. I was like, all right, didn't they pissed the first leg, and it went 2-0. I was like, wow, extra time. And I watched extra time. When they went a goal back, when Zagreb scored, Spurs started playing and they had chances. Bale had chance, you know what I mean? They had like people pulling off saves, and they had this goal mouth scramble, which was just ridiculous. But they finished the game, and the biggest compliment I could play Dynamo Zagreb was they played the game like a Mourinho team. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They left, and Mourinho's interview after was brilliant. They left their heart, soul, sweat, blood, tears, everything on the pitch. Mm-hmm. There's no more you can give.
And their manager was in prison as well.
Yeah, he got sent to prison, didn't he, last week? And they had the caretaker manager in, and first game in, thanks guys, I'll just knock Spurs out. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to say, football. I do love moments like that when you got a complete underdog who's just come out of nowhere and they've just played to the absolute optimum ability and they've done a job and won, and it was brilliant. Yeah, really great to see. Not for a Spurs fan. And I thought Lloris afterwards said it was disgraceful. And how did you see it? I don't know if you watched the game.
No, I didn't watch the game. I want to move on to that. I saw the highlights, and I think I read a lot after the fact, especially a lot of the Spurs fans. Just obviously a little bit of research for this particular podcast. I'll talk specifically on Tottenham in a moment, but with regards to Villarreal, I think they are one of the strongest teams. I think they're actually currently second favourites. I've got the bookies in a second, but yeah, I think they'll go far. Again, I said that they Roma and Ajax will make it to the final. I believe that they are on a different side of the draw, so they potentially could go through. So I don't know if you know that the semi-final draw.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, so you've got Granada, Manchester United versus Ajax or Roma.
Oh, right.
And then you've got Zagreb, Villarreal versus Arsenal and Slavia Prague. So if you're Manchester United or Arsenal, who's got the better draw?
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Just because you've got, I think Villarreal, I see Ajax or Roma. Yeah, I think Ajax, Roma are just better sides across. I think Villarreal are obviously tough, but you'd say the Ajax Roma one's a tougher draw. Having said that, Slavia Prague's a tough team. They'd be looking at a draw and thinking we could actually go. What price is Slavia Prague?
Slavia Prague are above 25 to 1. I didn't even get that far.
Oh, nice! I like that. I might have a cheeky interest.
Yeah, so obviously once the Manchester United side of the draw, so Granada, Manchester United, Ajax and Roma, you kind of fancy if you got through that side of the draw to go on to win it, would you not?
Yeah, you would, but it's one of those, isn't it? It's like depends on the other side, because if you get Arsenal in the final, you'd probably say Arsenal would fancy themselves against Man United, because the games they play against Man United, they've done all right. They've played the better football, and I think I think it's a long way to go. Like I said, there's some you can't write any of those teams off, because those teams have beat some quality teams to get to the final eight. You know what I mean? So it's a tough.
So I've got the betting odds here again. Paddy Power, just to keep it all congruent. You've got United as 7-4 favourites. You've got Arsenal at 3-1. You've got Villarreal at 5-1. You've got Ajax at 6-1. You've got Roma at 8-1, and the rest are above 25-1. Any value in that?
I'd lay Man United.
What we're doing is we're laying Manchester clubs.
Yeah, but I'm just going with the facts and history. They've not won anything under Solskjaer. They seem to bottle it. Man City have done wanking Champions League forever. They've never got to a final. So, and the teams they're playing, it's not a given. It's not like the teams that I'm talking about here are, the Barcelona team of 2010. You know what I mean? So it's there is reason behind the predictions.
So Ty's tip?
Slavia Prague.
Slavia Prague, I like that.
Yeah, outsider. I'd say a dark horse outsider out there. I like that. Yeah.
And we'll finish on who's going to win it.
I've got to say Slavia Prague now, haven't I?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Arsenal.
Yeah, I was thinking I can't say Arsenal to Slavia Prague, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I've got a feeling for Arsenal. I've got a little bit of an affinity for them. I like you say, I like the young players, strong, hungry players. I don't like Xhaka. I don't like David Luiz. I don't like the players that you mentioned earlier. I think they're a bit of a liability, but on the day, they can beat anyone that's in that competition. So yeah, I'm going to go with Arsenal. Now, obviously, we're interested to hear your thoughts. So please put your comments down below, as always. While you're there, you might as well give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't done already. Been on long enough. Yeah.
If you've got to this stage, you better subscribe, because that means you've got to like some of the shit we're talking about. Yeah.
Absolutely. And even if you don't agree with anything that we say, feel free to put that in the comments. I'm sure you won't be shy.
Let us know who you think's going to win. Hope you've enjoyed this. And until next time, guys, it's bye from me.
See you later, guys.
See ya.